Alright guys, this is the last batch of quickies for July. First thing I watched this past week was the latest Jordan Peele movie, Nope. And I really liked it. There's actually not a lot I can say about this movie without spoiling it, so I'll try to be brief. Nope has the usual horror comedy tone that people have come to expect from Peele, but I actually think that Nope pulls it off in a way that's very different from his previous two films. You might see the trailer and think this is like a spooky alien abduction horror movie, but it really isn't. Now, I didn't review Get Out or Us, but I do like those movies. I liked Get Out a lot more than Us, but I think Us is still good. And the thing is that even though all three of Peele's movies are tonally similar, they're still very different movies. Get Out is like a psychological thriller, Us is a straight-up slasher movie, and this is... honestly, I don't know what genre Nope falls under. It's not super scary, but it does have horror elements. It isn't laugh-out-loud funny, but it is comedic. If I could compare it to any other movie, I'd say it feels a lot like Jaws. I think this is very unique when compared to Peele's other films, and I think it's going to be one that has general audiences a lot more divided. Because this movie strongly relies on its themes to tell the story, and it's not willing to hold your hand with these themes. I found that this movie had a lot to say about the exploitation of tragedy and how humans are kind of disturbingly over-obsessed with watching things that they probably shouldn't be watching. And these themes are worked into other aspects of the film as well. I mean, there's a reason the unidentified fucking object is shaped like an eye. And again, these are just some of my interpretations, and there are many more that you can make while watching this movie, and that's why I enjoy it. Me and the group of friends that I watched this with all had different interpretations of the themes and messages of this movie. And that's something that I really love about films, and I don't really get to talk about it on this channel because I watch movies with fucking Iron Man in them. And I have heard a lot of people saying that this movie's too confusing and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, let me know if you guys walked out of the theater and heard people saying shit like, "Bro, what was the point of the monkey, dude? That didn't make any sense." This movie is trying to say a lot of things at the same time, and I can see the argument that it doesn't always balance these themes correctly. And I do think that the movie takes a little long to deliver its points, especially in the first act. While I certainly was never bored, I do think there are stretches of this movie that take a little bit too long to get to the point. But it also goes without saying that the performances in this film are amazing. I really like the characters, and even characters that you think will have a small part in the story and will just show up for one scene end up having a lot to do. And yeah, I can't really say anything else without spoiling the movie too much. I just say it's a fun movie to watch. This one has a little bit of something for everybody. It's charming, it's funny, it's triumphant, and it's even a little freaky and creepy. There's one particular scene that I do not recommend for the claustrophobic members of the audience. In fact, I think it gave me claustrophobia. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give Nope an 8.5 out of 10. So, I finally got around to watching The Marvelous Miss Marvel, and this one took me a little longer to get to than usual. There were a lot of big TV and movie releases this month, okay, but I finally watched it. And while it was better than I expected, it still falls victim to what have been very common issues for the Marvel TV shows. Miss Marvel is basically a teen comedy with superhero stuff splashed in, and yeah, that's been done quite a few times by this point, but what makes Miss Marvel stand out is its presentation. This show is actually shot and edited in a very creative way, and it doesn't feel like your usual Marvel style of static, shot, reverse shot, and gray color grading. I know I've been giving things way too much credit for just moving the camera every once in a while, but it seems like the boys and girls over at Marvel are realizing that they can't keep making gray static bullshit anymore. This show is presented through Kamala's eyes, and this framing device does a lot to make the show a lot snappier. And it helps that Iman Vellani is really good as her. I've seen her from interviews, and she basically is Kamala in real life. Like, she's not even acting. She really is an Avengers super stan, and for this character, that works really well. And now, a lot of people are mad that Kamala's powers aren't exactly the same as they are in the comics, and I honestly think they changed them because it would have been pretty hard to do big stretchy hands and feet in a way that doesn't look like shit, because the effects that are in this show are kind of bad. They don't look good, and they honestly would have looked worse if she had her usual powers. Marvel has been pumping out project after project, and between this and the latest Thor movie, the cracks are really starting to show on the special effects. They really are getting worse. And the effects being weak means that all the action scenes are very stiff and awkward, and I gotta say the action overall really didn't do it for me. I was not enjoying it. I think that as a whole, I was enjoying the show a lot more in the early episodes when things were about high school kids doing quirky stuff and discovering their superpowers, and as the show went along, it kinda lost me. I think the story just isn't very engaging, and the villains have these heel turns that are way too abrupt. Everybody who turns evil does so in the most unnatural way. They kind of just become bad because the story needs them to. And it left me not really enjoying the middle chunk of this show. When I started the show, I really liked episode 1, and I was very excited to see where it goes. And then it kind of trudges along until the last 2 episodes where things get better again. And I've noticed this happens a lot with the Marvel shows. The opening episode hooks you in, it gets you invested, and then they take like 4 or 5 episodes to drip feed you information that you could kind of figure out yourself. And then it finally ends with the stuff you actually want to see. I just think I don't like seeing superhero origin stories in a TV format. I would have really preferred to see this version of Kamala get introduced in a movie. I'm trying to imagine a world where Shang-Chi got a TV show that was 6 episodes long, and I'm thinking about how that would have been so much worse than the pretty decent movie that we ended up getting. I think these Marvel shows are a lot better when they serve to flesh out a character we already know. But hey, at the end of the day, I wasn't sitting and watching this show with a big frown on my face. I wasn't being a total Grinch. The main characters do carry the show a lot. Kamala is a very fun character, and I really do love her family and plucky side characters. There are a lot of Marvel movies that make the side characters the most annoying motherfuckers of all time, but this one pulls it off and makes them all really cute and charming. Anytime Kamala is interacting with her family members and her little friends, I was really enjoying myself. And despite the flaws, I can say that this show is cute. And I can appreciate when something is trying to be cute and it actually pulls it off. Plus, the series does set up some things that I'm actually very interested to see explored later. The worst Marvel shows and movies are the ones that end with me not wanting to see any of the characters ever again. And with this show, I actually would like to see Kamala again because I think she'd be a lot of fun in a feature film. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and give Miss Marvel a 6 out of 10. Phase 4 really had a lot of 6s. Maybe we should talk about that in a later video. Anyway, bye-bye.